word Deva also implies to other demigods, then how to interpret that? So Shiva explains, Harireva Sararatyah Saradeveshwareshwarah Itare Brahmarudra Adhyana Ugyayagaratana. O Parvati, certainly Shri Hari is the only worshipable deity in the highest sense. But that doesn't mean that others who are different from Hari, Itar means others who are different from Shri Hari, who are not as equal or on the same position as Hari, but who are inferior to Shri Hari, Itar. Those who are different from Shri Hari, that means he gives the example Brahma Rudrabhya, especially Brahma and Rudra, Shiva, I, myself. Those who are others, the other devatas, the other demigods, especially like me, Rudra and Brahma. That doesn't mean that we have to be disrespected. We have to be disrespected by the common people. It is the duty of other living beings of this material world to also respect us. Therefore, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami Pad very clearly says that one should also respect the demigods, although not worship them as the chief worshipable deity like we worship Shri Narayan, because we also have to consider the aspect of Ananya Upasana, exclusive devotion, one-pointed devotion towards Krishna. But that doesn't mean that if the temple of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma or any other demigod falls, when we are, suppose for an example, when we are walking on the street, when we are roaming on the path, and suppose some temple or some photo or some deity of some other demigods is seen by us, that doesn't mean that we have to disrespect them or we just have to ignore them by being indifferent. Rather, it is our duty to respect them. Therefore, Lord Shiva also commands in Padma Puran that certainly Shri Hari is the only worshipable, but that doesn't mean other demigods have to be disrespected. So here, Deva Pujanam means we have to respect other demigods, but we have to one-pointedly and exclusively worship Shri Krishna. We only have to establish permanent relationship with Shri Krishna, the loving relationship, not the loving relationship with anyone else. Another good example, a wife has her total love of a wife is devoted to a chaste, loyal wife. The total love of her wife, of that wife, is devoted only to her husband. But that doesn't mean that if other family members of the husband are present, she just ignores them or becomes indifferent to them. So in the same way, all these demigods are Adhikrita Dasas, servants of Supreme Godhead Shri Narayan. Therefore, they have to be respected by the common living beings. So that is the purport of the Deva Pujanam here. We have to worship Supreme Godhead Shri Vasudev, and we have to respect other secondary forms of demigods. Deva Pujanam, physically, not mentally. Here mental pujan is not being implied. Physical worship. What does physical worship mean? Physical worship is sometimes done panchopchar, through 5 paraphernalia. That's the shortest way. Sometimes through 12 upcharas, 12 paraphernalia, dvadashopchar. Sometimes through 16 paraphernalia, shodashopchar, and the most elaborate way to perform physical worship to Supreme Lord Krishna and his deity form is through 50 paraphernalia known as Panchasham Upchar. So there are many different ways of physical worship as mentioned in the Smriti Shastra. So that is the Deva Pujanam. Then comes Dvija Pujanam. Dvija Pujanam means physical worship of the Brahmins who are twice born. Dvija, Ja means Jan, those who are born. Jayate, Jayante, those who are born twice. Those who are born twice. What does that mean? The word Dvija also means the birds, because birds are also born twice. The first birth of any bird is when the egg comes out from the feminine reproductive organ of the female bird. And the second birth of the bird is when the eggshell breaks and the actual bird comes out. So that's why birds are also known as Dvijas. If you look at in Srimad Bhagavatam, many times the word Dvija has been used for indicating birds of different forms. But here the word Dvija doesn't mean the birds, it clearly means the Brahmins. Why? Because certainly all the living beings are to be respected. As Krishna gives his order in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam, all the living beings have to be respected, and therefore a humble devotee of the Lord doesn't disrespect any living being. What to speak of devatas, he doesn't even disrespect other human beings or other lower species of life, like donkey, ass or animals. But here, the word Dvija comes in its traditional sense. And the traditional meaning of the word Dvija is the Brahmanas. So therefore, it is also duty for Vaishnavas to respect the qualified Brahmins. If they are qualified, if they have the proper attributes and qualities and characteristics of being a Brahmana, and if they are expressing proper activities of being a Brahmana. Because as Narada Muni affirms in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasya Yal Lakshanam Proktam Pumso Varnabhivyanjakam, that Brahmana is only known as Brahmana if he displays the qualities and activities of being a Brahmana. Otherwise, if he is born in a Brahmana family, hereditary seminal line of a Brahmana, but his activities and attributes and demeanor are contradictory to the qualifications of a Brahmana, and if his activities are matching some other varna, some other class, the lower class of Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, then he is to be considered Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra and not Brahmana. Very clear dictum by Narada Muni in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yasya Yal Lakshanam Proktam Pumso Varnabhivyanjakam. And also Shri Krishna himself, the father of the Varnashram system, who has made the divisions of Varnashram, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom has sprung forth the 4 classes of Varna and the 4 stages of life, Ashrama. He himself declares, the creator of Varnashrama declares in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvarnim maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaram apimam vidhya kartaram abhyayam. That these 4 classes of Varna and Ashrama, they are divided according to guna and karma, according to qualities and actions, not according to janma or birth. That janma has not been used. So also birth has its importance only when the birth matches or corresponds to the quality and action. But otherwise, birth doesn't have any separate value apart from that. So, Dvija means those Brahmins who are actually qualified to be considered Brahmins, and not the Dvij Bandhus, not the Brahma Bandhus who are born in the family of Brahmins but who do not have the qualifications of being Brahmin. They are known as Dvij Bandhu or Brahma Bandhu. The best example is Ashwatthama in the 7th chapter, 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we are talking about Dvijas and not Dvij Bandhus here. And therefore the Brahmins are even to be respected by the Vaishnavas. Therefore it is said by Raghunath Das Goswami also in his Manah Shiksha, in his instructions to the mind. Raghunath Das Goswami also says that Bhusuragane, in the very first verse, he says that Guru Mantre Swanamni Bhusuragane. Bhusuragane means the demigods, the devatas of earth. The demigods of heaven are Indra, Brahma and Shiva. The demigods of earth planet are the Brahmins. So Bhusur or Bhudev, therefore Brahmins are also known as Bhudev or the demigods of earth planet. And therefore it is said that the Lord also takes his eatables, his victuals through the mouth of Brahmins. That is why feeding the Brahmins is also important according to the Smartha law. And therefore it is also said that Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishna descends only to protect the cows and the Brahmins, and especially also to protect his pure devotees Vaishnavas, but Brahmins and cows he also comes to protect. So Brahmins are to be respected even by the Vaishnavas. That doesn't mean that the position of Brahmins is better than Vaishnavas, but it's just a matter of etiquette. So Deva Dvija Guru Prakya Pujanam, and the Guru or spiritual master has to be worshipped, who imparts the knowledge of Vedas and the other Vedic scriptures. That Guru, spiritual master, whether he be Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, also known as Mantra Guru, because he gives the mantras, or whether he be Shiksha Guru, the preceptoral spiritual master, the instructing spiritual master, or whether he be Vartma Pradarshak Guru, the first person, the first personality who initially made us introduced to the path of Krishna Bhakti. That is known as Vartma Pradarshak Guru, who showed us the path, the very first person who met us. That is Vartma Pradarshak Guru. And the fourth is known as Bhajan Guru, also known as Shravan Guru, that particular spiritual master who guides us practically in regards to the advancement on the path of devotional service. Shiksha Guru gives general knowledge of Shastra, but Bhajan Guru gives specific instructions how to advance in day-to-day devotional service and achieve Prema Bhakti, the final goal. So that's therefore Jiva Goswami has analyzed 4 types of gurus in his Bhakti Sandarbh. So all the 4 types of gurus have to be shown proper respect physically. Therefore Krishna says in 4th chapter, Tadvitti pranipadena pariprashtena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. O Arjun, go to those learned who have practically realized, not only theoretically understood, but who have also practically realized the science of absolute truth. Go to them, and what you should do? You should perform three types of activities. First, you go in their vicinity, in their proximity, go near to them, and then offer your prostrated obeisances tadviddhi pranipadena pariprashtena sevaya. Just like a rod, offer your obeisances by submitting all the 8 limbs, ashtang, sashtang, pranam. Tadviddhi pranipadena pariprashtena sevaya. And also put forth an in-depth, profound inquiry, penetrating into the subject matter of Vedanta in front of them. Tadviddhi pranipadena pariprashtena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. And also serve them. That means whatever they need, try to serve them and try to fulfill their needs and whatever they demand. So, in these 3 ways, the gurus are to be respected. And as Krishna says, Acharyam mam nijaniyam navamanyeta karhichit namartya buddhya kunyeta sarvadeva mayo guruhu. That the spiritual master is to be considered the embodiment of all the 330 million demigods, and also the embodiment of the, and also empowered by the special potency of Shri Krishna, and he is never to be considered a mortal human being. If that happens, then if Martya Buddhi, mortal, this guru is just a mortal human being like any other, then offense occurs, Namaparat, the 3rd offense occurs, Guru Ramadhya Shruti Shastra Nindanam, the 3rd offense, neglecting the guru, that offense occurs, and then the spiritual life of the practitioner of devotional path is completely doomed forever. So Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam, and Pragya Pujanam means that other worshipable personalities, including mother, father, etc. Therefore the Vedas say, Pitridevo Bhava, Matridevo Bhava, etc. The father is to be respected, the mother is to be respected. Now the thing is, sometimes when father, mother, etc. are causing obstructions and impediments to the progressive path of devotional service, then even at that time they are to be respected, but their orders are not to be implemented. Therefore, Bhagavatam 5th canto very clearly says that Guru Rasasya Janani Rasasya, that Guru is not Guru, that mother is not mother, that father is not father, that Devta is not Devta, if he doesn't take us back to the lotus feet of Krishna and if he creates obstructions on that progressive path of devotion. But that doesn't mean Prahlad rejected Hiranyakashipu, Bharat rejected his mother Kaikeyi, and there are all examples in the Shastras. Special Siddhanta of Bhagavad Dharma, special rule of devotional path, that anyone causes obstruction, no matter how much dear to you he is, just consider him to be like not one enemy, but like 1 crore enemies combined. No matter how much affection he or she is showing to you, materially speaking, without duplicity even, you can say in material relationship, even without duplicity, that person may be showing affection to you. But if that person is causing obstruction on the path of progressive devotion, then he is to be considered not equivalent to 1 foe, 1 enemy, but equivalent to 1 crore enemies combined together aggregatively, and is to be rejected in such a way. But that doesn't mean that one should still disrespect them. The respect portion continues. We don't have to just follow their orders and implement the issues decreed by those non-devotional people, but we still have to respect them. We have to maintain the outward etiquette. Deva Dvija Guru Pragya Pujanam, Shaucha Marjavam, and cleanliness. Shaucha, cleanliness is of 2 types, Antarik Shuchi and Bahiranga Shuchi. The inward cleanliness and the outward cleanliness. Inward cleanliness means the proper cleansing of the body and making the body completely clean of all the abominable items which come out from the body. That is known as outward cleanliness. And the inward cleanliness means to make the mind devoid of sinful thoughts. That is inward cleanliness. Both types of shuchi are to be considered. Shaucham Arjavam. And Arjavam means simplicity through physical expressions. That means not making such gestures and not making such grotesque figures and not making such movements of body which rather are taken or perceived by the common populace as the show of pomp and paupery. That is not simplicity. Dumb, that is called dumb, pomp and foppery. Not making such physical expressions as to show the pomp and foppery, but being very simple in one's behavior. That is called physical simplicity, arjavam, brahmacharyam, and celibacy. Celibacy is of three types, as Yajnavalkya mentions, and that verse has also been quoted by Srila Prabhupada in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita while writing purport on that. Prabhupada also quotes from Yajnavalkya Smriti. Yajnavalkya Rishi mentions three types of celibacy: mental celibacy, verbal celibacy, and physical celibacy. But here, especially the physical celibacy and physical virginity also has been stressed upon by Shri Krishna, because we are talking about the physical penance here. Brahmacharyam, ahimsa, and ahimsa, himsa is also of three types: mental killing, verbal killing, and physical killing. Because himsa or killing is of three types, therefore ahimsa is also of three types: mental non-violence, verbal non-violence, and physical non-violence. But especially here, the physical non-violence is stressed because we are talking about physical penance and austerity. So I think that is the gist of the purport to the 14th verse. We are not able to complete the explanation on the 15th and 16th because we do not have that much time. 6:20 the Aarti will start. So now 10 minutes we have. We can take forth any queries or comments relevant to the topic just now. Yes. Very good.
You mentioned about spiritual master, how one of the ways to think of spiritual master, emotional mind. How comes to that both like in our movement towards no, because like spiritual master being from have had a past where they've acted as mortal before the next part by using the regulation.
Yes.
But how are we to understand that they are not an ordinary mortal man, but their activities previously were of a mortal man?
We can understand in the following way. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually let us first understand the meaning of Diksha or initiation. Very good inquiry. The word Diksha or initiation is literally defined by various different authorized Shastras. And Jiva Goswami has also quoted, in order to explain the meaning of the word Diksha, in his Sandarbhas he has also quoted, and also Sanatana Goswami in his Hari Bhakti Vilas he also quotes from various different Shastras the meaning of Diksha. So the most famous verse describing the meaning of Diksha is Divya Jnanam Dado Yasmad Kuryat Papasya Sanshayam. So that process in which transcendental knowledge regarding the absolute truth is imparted to the disciple, Divya Jnanam Dado Yasmad. And that process which simultaneously also destroys and vanquishes the accumulation of sins and vices. So when Diksha is undertaken by the aspiring candidate, at that time, through the process of Diksha, immediately all his previously performed vices, vicious activities and sinful misdeeds are wiped out, their reactions are wiped out, and also he gets the transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnana, from the Guru. That is the meaning of Diksha. So now, they might be previously performing sinful activities and all of the mundane activities of sense gratification. But those are all wiped out as soon as they come to the path of devotional service and take initiation from a bona fide Guru. The whole past is made blank, so to speak. Now, here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes some unprecedented revelation, which rather will seem astonishing to many of the people. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, while giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami in the 22nd chapter of Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, Sharanalaya kare Krishna Atma, Sharanalaya kare Krishna Atma Samarpana, Krishna tare kare tat kale Atma Sama. In 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Mama sadharmya magata. After Rajvidya, Rajbohyam, Pavitramidam Uttamam, king of all knowledge and confidential of all, most secret of all knowledge. After that verse, 9th chapter, after that verse, Krishna says that one who thus assimilates this confidential knowledge of devotional service and practically enacts and implements this science of devotional service in his life, then as a result of that, as a resultant of that devotional endeavor, he becoming transcendental to the three modes of material nature. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena savisevati sagunam samatityaitam, 14th chapter. And becoming transcendental to the three modes of material nature, that devotee acquires almost similar nature like mine. Mama sadharmya magata. Sadharmya. Sadharmya means he acquires almost similar nature like me. Not exactly the same, but almost similar. That means he acquires the transcendental nature, but still he is bereft of some special powers that Krishna has, like the power of creating material world, sustaining material world, and annihilating material world. These powers are not given to living entity at any time. Those are only reserved for the Godhead. But he becomes transcendental like Shri Krishna. He becomes transcendental and goes beyond the three modes of material nature. So he becomes almost similar to the Lord's position. Mama sadharmya magataha. The same thing has been expressed in a very clear way rather by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. Sharana layya kare Krishna Atma Samarpana. When through the process of surrender, sixfold surrender, Sharvida Sharanagati, that verse quoted from Brahma Yamal Tantra in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami and also by Sanatana Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas, famous verse describing 6 types of surrender, Anukulyasya Sankalpah, Pratikulyasya Varjanam, etc. So that sixfold surrender, once that sixfold surrender has been undertaken by the aspiring person, and after that sixfold surrender, he submits unto the lotus feet of a bona fide Guru, Ado Guru Padashrayaha. The first limb of devotional service, as Rupa Goswami says in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, is to submit and surrender to a bona fide Guru. Ado Guru Padashraya, that is the beginning of sadhan bhakti. So, after the sixfold surrender process is completed and the prerequisite criterion has been fulfilled by the aspiring candidate, then he takes literal surrender unto the lotus feet of Guru and Krishna. And at that time what happens? By the mercy of Guru and Krishna, and actually Krishna himself, what he does at the time of initiation, when disciple surrenders to Guru and Krishna, what Krishna does, he makes that disciple immediately, instantly, not after much time or after much practice of sadhana bhakti, but immediately at the time of diksha, he makes that devotee completely as equal to him. Krishna tare kore tatkale atmasam. Tatkale, instant, atmasam. He makes him equal to him. That means the whole body, gross and subtle, of the living entity, they become spiritualized. Just like when fire permeates the iron rod. So the iron rod becomes almost non-differently perceived from fire, at least according to the apparent vision of 5 senses. At least according to the apparent experience and perception of the 5 senses, fire which has become united with iron rod, an iron rod which has become pervaded by fire, that iron rod acts in the same capacity as the original fire does. So in the same way, the gross and subtle bodies of the mundane living entities who has now taken to the devotional endeavor, his mundane gross and subtle bodies are rather made just like the iron rod which is permeated with fire. In the same way, his gross and subtle bodies become permeated with the internal potency of Krishna, Antaranga Shakti, and therefore they become transcendental. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the next verse, Prabhu kahe Vaishnava deha prakrita kabhu naya, prakrita aprakrita deha bhaktera chidanandamaya. Prabhu kahe Vaishnava deha prakrita kabhu naya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Sanatana that the body of a Vaishnava who has taken initiation into a bona fide sampradaya through a bona fide Guru, his body, whether it be subtle or gross, is not prakrit, doesn't remain anymore material, but rather turns spiritualized. A prakrit deha bhakter chidanandamaya. Devotee's body then becomes full of sat chitananand, eternal cognition, bliss and perpetual existence, and becomes aprakrit, becomes transcendental to the 3 modes of material nature, although it is not perceived by the devotee himself and by the others, but still it happens. Still it happens invisibly. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. Sei kale Krishna tare kare atmasam. At the time of Diksha, initiation, when devotee fully surrenders through sixfold limbs of surrender to Guru and Krishna, at that time Krishna immediately makes him equivalent to his own self. Sei deha kare tara chidananda moy, aprakrita dehe tara charana bhajay. And when the gross and subtle bodies of living entities, which are acting as via media for devotional service, without assistance of gross and subtle bodies, living entity himself cannot perform devotional service. That's why Sharir Madhyamam Kharu Dharma Sadharam. Body is via medium for performing devotional service, at least in the conditioned embodied state of living being. So, the subtle and gross bodies which act as via medium for devotional service, they are made spiritualized. All the 5 knowledge acquiring senses, Pancha Gyanendriyas, all the 5 action performing senses, Pancha Karmendriyas, and mind, intelligence and false ego. That means all the aspects of subtle and gross bodies, they are made spiritualized, completely Satchidanand. Say deha kare tara chidanandamay, aprakrita dehe tara charana bhajay. And when the senses become spiritualized and transcendental by the unification of internal potency, then through those senses, those spiritual senses, spiritualized senses, that the devotee performs 9-fold limbs of devotional service known as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnaho, etc. Therefore you will see, Padma Puran Vyasdev says, Atah Shri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyaihi sevon mukhehi jihvadau svayameva pratyadaha. The transcendental names of Krishna cannot be recited or uttered by the mundane tongue. When the tongue becomes spiritualized at the time of initiation, only after that the transcendental name of Krishna is recited. Now question arises, even gross karmis who have no clue of devotional surrender, even they recite Krishna Nam. Even sinful people who have no clue of devotional, who have no likening or inclination towards devotional service, they also recite Krishna Nam. How is that possible? They are not reciting the actual Krishna Nam. Because Krishna Nam is not forcibly produced by our whim. Krishna, the real Krishna Nam, that is only semblance of Krishna Nam that they are reciting. That's not the real Krishna Nam. The real factual Shuddha Nam, the factual Krishna Nam appears on his own accord. Why? Because Krishna Nam is full of consciousness, is full of desire, thinking, willing and feeding. So he cannot be forced to appear. He appears on his own accord. He is not different from Krishna. He is not different from Nami, Shri Krishna. Nam and Nami are completely non-different. So the actual Krishna Nam is the treasury of Golok Vrindavan. Golokera Premadana Harinam Sankirtan, Narottam Das Thakur says. And so the actual Krishna Nam can only appear on the tongue when the tongue has become spiritualized by the devotional surrender. Before that, the Krishna Nam that is being uttered by karmis and duracharis, that is, and by the jnanis and yogis and others who are not bhaktas, that is not real Krishna Nam. So that is how it happens. Real Krishna Nam cannot be taken by mundane sense, by any mundane sense. It can only be taken by spiritualized transcendental sense. That is why Atah Shri Krishna Namadi Namavid Grahyam Indriyaihi Sevon Mukhehi Jihvadau Swayameva Pratyadaha. When devotee wants to serve Krishna Nam, then his tongue becomes spiritualized, and then the Krishna Nam appears on his own accord, on his own sweet will, based on his own sweet will and disposal. He appears on the tongue of that devotee and starts dancing on the tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the main point is, the spiritual master is, his body is completely transcendental, so he is not mortal anymore, like any other living entity. That is the main point. Hare Krishna. And any more inquiries they can take privately in seclusion because of the formal time limit. Do we have 5 minutes, or I don't know, because I have been told 6:20 is the completion. Tusi Aarti? Okay, yeah, so, okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.